And we all know, when we're talking about manufacturing, when we're talking about real expertise, we're talking about Detroit.
Oh, yeah!
Okay, so I thought what we'd do this morning, thank you, I wanted to make that announcement. I thought I'd tell you a little bit about myself, a little bit more about why I'm in this fight, and then Richard's going to run it. We'll do some questions for as long as we've got, and then if anybody wants to stay and take a selfie, I'll stay as long as I got a selfie person back there. Ready? All right. So, I love you. So, I was born in Oklahoma. I know Okies in here, huh? Okay. It's okay, there aren't that many of us.
Right.
So, I was the baby in the family. I have 3 much older brothers. I was what used to be called a late in life baby. My mother always just called me the surprise. But I have 3 older brothers. They all went off and joined the military. My oldest brother, Don Reed, was career military. He spent about 5.5 years in combat in Vietnam. We were really lucky to get him back home. Second brother, John, he spent over a year stationed overseas. Third brother, David, he's the one who trained to be a combat medic. Now, all 3 of my brothers are retired. They live back in Oklahoma now, all close to each other. But we have a rule in our family: never choke around David. And the reason is because, even in his 70s, he carries a sharp pocket knife and he is sure he could perform an emergency tracheotomy. He is always ready. It makes for some very exciting moments at Thanksgiving, as in anyone goes, we all just back out of the room. Wasn't me. I'm still very close to my brothers. I talk to them regularly, try to get back to Oklahoma when I can. When we were growing up, our daddy had a lot of different jobs. He sold paint, he sold carpets, he sold fencing, he sold housewares. And when I was in middle school, the boys, they're still referred to as the boys, even at their ages now. The boys were all gone, and it was just my mama and my daddy and me. And my daddy had a massive heart attack, and we thought we were going to lose it. Now, he made it through, but when he got home from the hospital, he couldn't go to work. And so week after week after week, nothing coming in. We lost the family station wagon. And my mama used to tuck me into bed at night. She'd kiss me and tuck me in, and then she'd leave the room, and that's when she and my daddy would talk. They'd think I'd gone to sleep. And that's when I used to lie in bed, and that's where I learned words like mortgage and foreclosure. And one morning I walked into my folks' bedroom, and there on the bed was the dress. Now, some of you in this audience will know the dress. It's the one that only comes out for weddings, funerals, and graduations. And I look over at the dress and then look at my mother. And she's in her slip and her stocking feet. And she's pacing. She's not talking to me. She's pacing and she's crying. She's saying, "We will not lose this house. We will not lose this house. We will not lose this house." She was 50 years old. She had never worked outside the home. And she was terrified. And finally, after a while, she notices me standing there in the door, just a kid. And she looks at me, and she looks at that dress, and she looks at me, and she looks at that dress. And finally, she wipes her eyes, she pulls the dress on, puts on her high heels, walks to the Sears, and gets a full-time minimum wage job answering the phones. That minimum wage job saved our home, and it saved our family. And for many, many years, I just thought that's the story my mama taught me, that no matter how hard it looks, and no matter how scared you are, when it gets tough, you reach down deep, you find what you have to find, you pull it up, and you take care of the people you love. Now, years later, I came to understand that wasn't just the lesson my mama taught me. That's the lesson that millions of Americans live every single day. No matter how hard, no matter how scared, when it comes down to it, you reach down deep, you find what you have to find, you pull it up, and you take care of the people you love. That's what we do. But here's the deal. It was only years after that I came to understand that story is also a story of government. Because when I was a girl, a full-time minimum wage job in America would support a family of 3. It would pay a mortgage, it would cover the utilities, and it would put food on the table. Today, a full-time minimum wage job in America will not keep a mama and a baby out of poverty. That is wrong, and that is why I am in this fight.